Hello and welcome to my Throne of Thunder raid guide. My name is Aliena, and in this video I'll show you all you have to know about heroic Tortos. I'll assume you know how to kill the normal version of this fight, and we'll only go over what changes for the heroic mode. We completed this fight with 1 tank, 2 healers and 7 DPS, but similar raid configurations may work just as well. Tortos' heroic mode is not much different from his normal mode. The only different mechanic in this encounter is Crystal Shell. When you enter Tortos' room, you'll see 5 crystals lining the room. Hitting a crystal with an ability will apply a helpful shell to a raid member. Initially, the shell absorbs 15% of the raid member's maximum health. However, any healing a raid member receives will add on to this shell, up to a total of 75% maximum health. However, to counteract this, every ability Tortos possesses does significantly more damage. Standing in a rockfall, for instance, will kill. A Quake Stomp taken without any kind of crystal shell or other absorbs will come very close to killing a raid member straight up, and that's not even counting the subsequent rockfalls. As such, it's every raid member's goal to always have a crystal shell active. Every healer's goal is to keep these shells at full capacity, especially the tanks. If a tank's shell falls off, they will have a harder time reapplying and keeping it up than your other raid members. To monitor the shells better, healers should add 2 debuffs to their raid frames, Crystal Shell and Crystal Shell Full Capacity. It is important to note that when a raid member puts up a shell while he is not at full health, all further healing will go towards the shell and not the actual health pool. Smart healing spells will still attempt to target the raid member with the lowest health regardless of whether or not their shell is fully stacked, so manual healing may be preferable in those cases. It is also recommended to employ self-healing or wait for a heal to reapply a crystal shell if the raid member is particularly low on health. As for raid composition, there are multiple ways to go about this encounter. If you have a paladin tank, it is possible to solo tank this encounter. Personally, we found that concentrating the damage on one person let us defeat Tortos more easily. We had a hunter misdirect the bats to our tank, and that coupled with the healing paladin tanks can do also did a good job of attracting all the ads. Our paladin had either a personal or an external cooldown up for every snapping bite that coincided with the bats. If that is not an option for you, 2 tanking may be the way to go. In that case, a tank with good physical damage mitigation should tank Tortos full time, and an off tank handles the bats. If your bat tank falls below 550k health, the bats will start healing, which can easily create a chain reaction and you may be unable to recover. A monk tank is capable of kiting the bats indefinitely, whereas with any other tank class you're better off killing them. If you have incredibly good DPS, 2 tanking and 3 healing can be an option. However, this fight is a DPS check. If you fall behind on ads and cannot improve your DPS further, it may be worth reviewing your raid composition. Ranged DPS are very valuable in this encounter as they are really the only people that can do consistent damage to the turtles. If you have an Affliction Warlock, let him glyph Curse of Exhaustion and use it in conjunction with Soul Burn for a 70% slow on all 3 turtles. It makes a world of difference. Turtles must die before new turtles come out. If you're killing the bats, they too must die before new bats come up. As far as positioning goes, you should keep the bats close to Tortos himself so your melee and ranged DPS can AoE the boss and the ads together. As mentioned, your ranged DPS should primarily focus on the turtles. If turtles are going down in a timely manner, they can help out on the bats and the boss. Obviously, every furious stone breath must still be interrupted by kicking a turtle at Tortos. Whenever possible, your assigned kicker should kick a turtle through both the bat pile and the boss to increase damage taken by all the mobs. This greatly helps with meeting the DPS requirement. However, always keep at least 1 turtle available for interrupting the next stone breath. About 5.5 minutes into the encounter, Tortos will skip a turtle summon. It's very important to keep 2 or 3 turtles available for fewer stone breaths around that time. When he resumes turtle spawns a minute later, they will keep coming in about 15-second intervals. At this point, it's not worth killing ads anymore as you've hit the soften rage. If you cannot burn Tortos down before you get overrun with turtles, you will likely wipe. If you're currently having a lot of trouble on this fight, it is useful to know that even just adding a few item levels on your raid members will make it much easier to meet the DPS requirement on the ads. If you haven't done it yet, Jikun should be an easier target. As I'm duo healing with a Mistweaver on this fight, I stay Disc. The Mistweaver is incredibly good at building shells up quickly, while Disc's absorbs very often avoid shells falling off altogether. If you don't have a Mistweaver in your healing team, Holy is likely a better choice for any priest. My personal talent choices on this fight are Solas, Divine Insight, and Halo. This maximizes mana return and lets you put additional shields on the tank. To use Halo optimally, position yourself in the center of your raid team and start the cast a split second before Tortos' Quake Stomp goes off. I'm putting a link to the whole encounter into the video info in case you want to see how we dealt with the various mechanics in detail. Good luck and have fun!